Guys, there is absolutely no reason why you can't be shredded year round and maintain it with ease. Being social, eating out, alcohol if you fancy it, an active social life, enjoying time with people you care about, right? What's the point of life otherwise? Why work so hard to just restrict all of the fun things that you get enjoyment from? This is the false ideology that a lot of people in the fitness world have. If I want to look my best, if I want to be shredded, if I want to look lean, which we all want, right? If we enter the gym and part of our goal is to look better, we want to improve our visual appearance, understand that actually comes with being lean. Being lean is a part of that. If I said to you, think about your most desirable physique of yourself, right? Not someone else. Think about your physique. How would you want it? Where would you want more muscle? And just think about if you could craft your own physique from what it currently is and add 20 pounds of muscle and distribute where the muscle went. Get an image in your head, right? Now tell me, does that version of you have 20% body fat or 8% body fat? You're thinking of the shredded version of you. We want to be shredded. We want to be in the shape of our life, but we don't want it to come at the expense of our life. We don't want to basically just fucking eliminate all of the fun that we have and live like a monk, live like a robot. Nobody wants that. That's what most people believe, though. They believe it's one or the other. You can be social, you can have the meals out, you can enjoy your favourite foods, but you can't be in the shape of your life. And if you do want to be in the shape of your life, you've got to cut all of that out. Don't see anyone. Just live like a fucking monk. I'm here to tell you that you can do both of those things, because that's what I've done for the last 3 years, guys. I've lived so many different lifestyles in the last couple of years. I've been traveling around the world. I've been in Europe, I've been in Bali, I've been in Thailand, I've been in relationships, which has an implication, obviously. This is the social side, right? Your missus is always wanting to get food, pulling you off track, trying to anyway, sending you places on TikTok to go and check out, so then you're going and eating fucking cinnamon buns in the morning and pancakes and shit. I've been single, taking girls out on dates, a bit more alcohol than I'm normally used to. And I've trained for endurance events. I've trained for ultra marathons. I've done sub three marathons, high rocks. Not just doing endurance events, not just doing 100 milers, but doing them fucking to a high standard. And throughout all of those different ways of living, I've maintained a shredded physique. I haven't always been the same level of body fat. I've fluctuated a little bit, but that is built and baked into the strategy that I'm going to share with you in this video. How to stay shredded year round. Now, first of all, let's just talk a little bit more about this approach to life and fitness. Okay? This is the precursor to everything that I'm going to talk about. Discipline should create freedom. Living with so much structure and discipline, training so much, being very selective with the food that we put in our mouths, where we spend our time and our energy, these disciplined acts are for freedom later down the line. But the problem is the hustle culture we live in makes people forget this. They only look at one end of the bargain, right? This is a deal. If you live with discipline now, you get freedom later down the line. And most people get so caught up living in discipline and never claim their freedom. The whole point of fitness is to add to your life. Yes, we have to sacrifice. Yes, it's not always easy. Yes, sometimes it takes away from life for a phase or a season, but it shouldn't permanently take away. It should be net positive, and the positive versus negative shouldn't even be remotely close to one another, right? It should be so much more positive than it is negative. It should be giving you confidence and competence and an inner knowing that you're using this gift, right? You're doing everything you can to better your life by using fitness as the vehicle for personal growth. It's meant to buy you energy back. It's meant to improve your dating life, improve your relationships. Adding all of this to your life. But what people do is they set up with training and nutrition and the parameters around it so strict, it's a ticking time bomb. It's not a case of maybe they will fall off, maybe they'll revert back to square one, they have to start all over again, but before they start all over again, they're going to have 3 to 6 months where they've just completely fallen off the wagon. It's a case of when. I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt. I've seen so many people do it or come to me from that position, right? Just feeling burnt out of two ends of the spectrum, ultra restrictive, and they're never going to stick to it. And then the other side where it's like they've fallen off and they're doing nothing. Now it's fuck. I need to get back into it. Right, okay, I'll get back into it. So much fucking, so many fucking lines in the sand, and I can't do this, and I'm never going to eat out again, and I'm not having a fucking cheat meal for the next 6 months, and just going about it in the most retarded way that you could possibly go about it. So we have to understand that, yes, sacrifice is going to be a part of it. Yes, restriction is going to be a part of it, but it should come in seasons. It shouldn't be there permanently. And in the season where you are showing a little bit more restraint, and maybe you aren't eating out as much, and you are in a deficit, and you are getting shredded, you understand all the time that this is temporary. And I'm doing this now because I'm going to claim some freedom and enjoyment later down the line. The main problem, realistically, there are many, but the main one, people can't manage calories well. They don't understand calories well enough. And this isn't their own fault. This is just the fucking society we live in. We live in a society where we're not even allowed calories on the menu. I believe they've actually changed that a little bit now. But I remember that whole debate was going on a couple of years ago, which is fucking dumb as fuck. So dumb. Calories should be on the menu. But people cannot manage calories well. They don't understand them. They haven't got enough experience with dealing with them and tracking and understanding calorie-dense foods versus fucking, processed shit. And just, there's no, it's like just a completely alien subject. And what people do is, rather than try and learn, it's easier to avoid it. It's easier to just, if you feel like you're in a decent position with your body and you've made a bit of progress, it's easier to just go, I'll just never eat out. I will never drink. And I'm not going to have any fun. I'm going to stop seeing everyone. I'm going to stop going to my favourite restaurants and because I don't want to undo the work. Well, you've just created a prison. You think about that deal that I'm talking about, discipline and then freedom, right? That's a deal. That's a trade, essentially. This is a prison where you're only now living discipline. You're not getting any freedom. So, that must be solved. Now, you've got to get shredded first. If you want to stay shredded year round, you have to get shredded first. I've made videos on this in the past. I will make more in the future. I'm not even going to dive into it much in this because I think there's more value in the staying shredded part. But we ain't fucking splitting atoms. You want to get shredded, eat less and move more. You already know this, guys. Yes, are there specific strategies I use with clients from a nutritional and training and expenditure standpoint and phasing and setting up training programs for, fatigue management and reps and volume? And yeah, of course there is. But do you need that? No, you don't. No, you don't. Because the first time I got shredded, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. First time I got shredded was in COVID, right? It was in COVID, and I was training. We had a bit of like a home gym setup. We just had like a shitty barbell. And I say shitty, it sounds very ungrateful. I was very grateful to have that equipment. But I mean, like, it was one of those spin lock barbells. It wasn't even like a 20 kg thing, and like a bench press that didn't even fucking work. Didn't give a fuck. Made it work. But I didn't know anything about nutrition. I didn't know anything about anything. Didn't know anything about training. Still got shredded because I just understood the principle of, well, I need to fucking move and eat less. So I'll cover that in depth in another video, how to get absolutely fucking peeled. But, if we're going to stay shredded, we've got to be shredded. Now, this is another concept I want to introduce you to. Nutritional leverage. Now, listen up. This is very important. Right now, anyone that follows me on IG, you will see the current condition that I'm in. I wouldn't say shredded, but I'm lean. Because I'm actually in a phase now where I'm building muscle. I'm pushing food up really high, but I'm eating like 3,800 calories a day, and I've still got veins like fucking everywhere, all over my quads, all over my legs. abs, everywhere, on 3,700 calories a day. Now, that is essentially the end product of nutritional leverage. I'm going to run you through it in a second, but I want to paint a picture for you right now. You guys that have already done a fat loss phase, you already know what it's like. You were probably down here. You were probably 2,000 calories, 1,800 calories, dropping down to 1,700, doing shitloads of steps. And then at some point, the weight stops dropping off, right? So if I'm at 3,800 calories and right now my weight isn't really budging, it's trending upwards ever so slightly, which is how I approach a building phase anyway. I don't like gaining fat quick at all, nor do I like my clients doing that. But if I was to say, right, do you know what? I've got a holiday coming up in 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whenever. I want to get so fucking peeled out of my mind. I want to look like I'm stepping on a bodybuilding stage. I'm starting at 3,800 calories. And I'm not far off. I probably wouldn't drop below 3,000 calories in order to get ridiculously lean. That's nutritional leverage. And why this is so important is because even if I got down to that at 3,000 calories, I'm still on 3,000 calories. So if I want to then have a meal out, if I want to factor in a date with a girl, fuck, I don't even have to think. And part of that not thinking has come with obviously my experience coaching people and understanding meal plans and calories and you know, doing it so in depth. But it's really not fucking hard, guys. It's maths. It's maths. You have AI, you have ChatGPT, you have Claude, you have all of these fucking AI calorie trackers, which I haven't used, and I'm not saying I like recommend them. But my point is, I was doing this back in the day on MyFitnessPal before AI was even a thing. You know, and it was easy then. So when people say to me like, oh, well, I can't get in shape because of the football and the World Cup, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. You're just too lazy. You have every tool at your disposal that you could ever fucking need. And if you can build nutritional leverage, you'll crush this forever. And this is what I do with my clients. So, you know, think about it this way. It's so much easier to factor in a meal out on 3,000 calories per day than 2,000. If you were going out and you had to bank 1,000 calories for a meal, well, if you're on 2,000 calories a day, you know, that means dropping food pretty low for a few days prior in order to make up the difference and go and spend those calories when you're eating out, right? That would make those few days very fucking hard. Training recovery would be shite. That will impact your physique and your training. But if you're on 3,000 calories, you probably won't even notice a fucking difference. It's just so easy. And after you get shredded, okay, this is where nutritional leverage is built. What most people do wrong after a cutting phase is they go straight into pushing food back up high. Well, immediately your body's going to respond to that and you're just going to put a load of body fat back on. And you've undone your hard work. You're not building any leverage there. What we do instead is a reverse diet. Now, the easiest way for me to explain this, if your body's operating on 2,000 calories a day, right? And suddenly we finish the cut and I go, right, okay, here's 2,400 calories. Your body's been used to operating on 2,000. So the extra 400, it instantly recognizes going, well, I don't need that because I'm used to operating on 2,000. I'll store that as fat. I will store that energy and it will be stored as fat. If we go from 2,000 to 2,100 calories, which is just slightly above what we were previously consuming, the body wouldn't even necessarily really realize it. Just kind of absorb it like a sponge, right? Just take it in. So we can sneak food in. The body will take it in and use it for training and recovery, energy and recovery, should I say, with no consequence to weight. There's no fat being stored. We're not gaining weight. So then our new normal, our new maintenance becomes 2,100. We repeat, right? All the time we're monitoring scale weight, yeah? All of the other metrics as well. At some point this will cap out. Your metabolism has a range, right? But it doesn't mean that you can do this process until you're eating 12,000 calories and you're not gaining weight. It doesn't work like that. But there is a range. And you can if we say you're at 90 kilos, let's say, at the end of the cut, and then you're at 2,000 calories, and we get you up to we can get you up to 3,000 calories higher. I've gone way higher with clients before, and you're still 90 kilograms at the end of it. That's leverage. You've built leverage. Okay? Now, going from 2,000 calories to 3,000 calories, but putting on 5 kilograms isn't leverage. Because if we were to get you in a deficit to get those 5 off, you'd be back down at 2,000. So the implication of going from 2,000 to 3,000 and your weight staying the same in a well-executed reverse diet is the next time you do a fat loss phase, your food won't go down anywhere near 2,000. So you build leverage. I've got a client right now, Sam. I put this on my Instagram story the other day. Some of you may have seen it. He's losing weight on 3,500 calories. And he looks fucking shredded. Right? He's not shredded, but by the average eye, he's shredded. And it's because he's done this process over and over and over again. We've been working together about 18 months now. And when he started, we had him on 1,800 calories to lose weight. So you're not cursed. Your metabolism isn't fucked. This is applicable to absolutely everybody. Leverage is key. Leverage makes this whole thing tick. Now, we also want to become a metabolic furnace. We want to burn as many calories as we possibly can, and we want our body to just be constantly fucking burning calories, right? Hybrid training is your best friend for this. Doing the fucking Stairmaster and those boring forms of cardio, we want our body to be fucking tapping into those fuel stores, right? So you have your hypertrophy sessions, you have your strength sessions, but we have structured cardio. We have long format zone 2 cardio. We have higher intensity, shorter work, right? HIIT training, metcons, things like that, erg work. And we also just stay active. We burn as many calories as we possibly can. That means high non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is steps and just moving around, right? I always say to clients all the time, say in my YouTube videos, just be as active as you can. Walk everywhere. If I don't have my phone on me right now, but I can back this up. I'm not going to go get it. I leave it in another room when I'm working. For the last 18 months, no joke, 18 months, I've probably averaged 14,000 steps a day on this Garmin. Just be active. Our ancestors, when they were hunter-gatherers, they used to run like fucking 15 miles a day. It's like 20,000 steps, but it's running. We're not designed to be sat down, and doing nothing all day. Even if you go and train, it's not enough. 10,000 steps, daily non-negotiable, regardless of training phase. You train really fucking hard in your strength sessions. You do structured cardio. Get your body used to fucking using that fuel. Become a furnace. Now, macros, non-negotiable. Macros determine your body composition, along with obviously other metrics as well. It's not just macros. Obviously, that's in relation to expenditure and work. But you should always know what you're aiming for. Every single phase. Every single phase. Every moment of your life, really. You should know your macros. And people will say, well, that's a bit fucking extreme. You're going to do this all your life. Well, if you do it long enough, you can intuitively do it. You don't have to track everything. I could, theoretically, just never track again. But I do it because when I'm sharper with my macros, my body composition just does not slip. Macros are the governor for how you look and performance and recovery. So if you can nail these day in, day out, you just compound into the best version of you. There is no way you can fail. You got to track your scale weight and all these other metrics as well. But you should always hit your macros. When I speak to these guys and I'm like, okay, bro, cool. What's the goal at the moment? Oh, building muscle, losing fat, I'm training for this marathon here. All right, what are you doing with nutrition? Oh, this many calories. Right, and what about the macro? I don't know the macros. It's like, bro, what are you doing here? You have the complete wrong end of the stick. That's even more important than your training, realistically, because it doesn't matter what training you're doing. If you've got garbage nutrition, it's never going to transfer into what you want it to be. If you hit your macros every single day, your physique will never slip, right? There's no excuse for not hitting your macros. Day in, day out, it's so easy. It's easy for me because I am a bit of a robot, like with my meal plan. I like eating the same things every day. I don't have to think. I wanna save all of my brain power and energy for this and work and videos and clients. I don't want to think and track every day. The odd day out where I'm off to get a Nando's, whatever, I do that every week, right? But it's just so easy to do. But my default setting is just a meal plan because I know that every single day I'm on point. It's the fastest way to get results, and I like it. You don't have to do that. You could mix it up. It's going to take a little bit more time and faffing about, but you can do it. You can eat however you want and still hit your macros. It's non-negotiable. Master social strategies as well. Okay? Now this ties into nutrition. You have to master these. These are your tools basically for the fun side of food, let's say, or consumption, of eating at nicer restaurants and things that might be slightly higher calories or sweet treats. If you can master these principles, you can factor all of that in and still be within the ballpark. And basically, the way I describe it to clients is you don't always have to be perfect. We just have to limit damage. Now, there's a lot of situations where if you go in and eating at the likes of a Nando's or a Wagamama's where they do have, you can find that information online, the macronutrients of what you're going to eat, then you can make it perfect on those occasions. On the ones where you're eating at kind of a random restaurant or whatever, or something's come to you last minute and then you don't have time to prepare for it, as long as you can mitigate some damage, one meal isn't going to do fuck all. That's why I never refer to cheat. I don't like the idea of cheat meals. It's just a lifestyle that we're living and the way that we approach it. So these social strategies, calorie banking, saving calories before the event to use them on the day when you want to eat out. Easiest way to think about this, money. Okay? If you don't go out, and by go out I don't mean partying, but if you don't go out at the weekend and spend any money in the first 3 weekends of the month, you can spend it all on the last weekend of the month. It's a pretty simple concept, right? If you've got a holiday coming up, typically what people do is they don't go out or they don't spend much money the weeks before, so they have a surplus saved up so they can spend it when they're on holiday and have a better time, right? Same principle. Save calories Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to then spend more on Friday. And that process, when you're on 3,000 calories versus 2,000, is far easier. That's leverage, right? But you've got to get to this point while still being lean. Because that's the real leverage. I could get to 3,000 calories tomorrow, but I'm going to put weight on. I'm over 3,000 calories. You could get to 3,000 calories tomorrow from wherever you are. You could just put your meal plan up to 3,000. But if it's such a big jump, you're going to put on a load of body fat. So 3,000 isn't the magic number. My point is, if you can be on higher calories on the same or with the same level of body fat, you've cracked it. Protein sparing fast. Really good for the day of the event, the day of eating out, and when plans are thrown on you last minute, okay? So all that would be is removing all items bar protein, fruit and veg from your meals to save large amounts of calories for the evening. Or maybe you're going out for breakfast, you do it in the latter meals of the day before. Yesterday, me and the boys went over to Sheffield and went to this meat place. I had pulled brisket, I had chicken wings, I had a smash burger with hash brown and fried onions. And I got a cookie or something in Meadowhall, I can't remember now. And all I did for that, I did bank some calories the day before, but on the day of, I just pulled out my carb sources from my other meals. So I didn't have rice in meal 1, that was 350 calories. I didn't have rice in meal 2, that's another 350, that's 700. And then normally I have about an 850 calorie meal as the third meal of the day. Well, I swapped that meal out, right? Because if I'm eating out, I'm going to swap it for a meal. but I saved another 700 calories aside from that. Easy. The scale weight was not up this morning. It was exactly the same as the day before. So easy. Extra movement, self-explanatory. Using AI for estimates. Planning and thinking ahead. Simple as that. That's all you've got to do. Every time I teach this to a client, they're like, mate, I can't believe how fucking simple it actually is. Like, you don't need to be perfect. You just have to understand that doing nothing is allowing as much damage to take place as possible. If you can at least just use your brain and go, well, yeah, I'm eating out tonight, let me try and cut back a little bit here and there. Bro, easy. Alcohol. Let's look at this from two different lenses, right? From a getting shredded lens, it's a complete waste. Complete waste. Empty calories, no nutritional value whatsoever. From a being social or enjoyment lens, bit different. Okay, it's very useful. And, you know, I coach a lot of younger guys, and I always say to them, like, look, I know that I don't drink right now, and I'm pretty vocal about that, but I've fucking drunk most of my life. And I don't want you guys to miss out on any of your social, you know, side of life. So go out and enjoy yourself, but you have to assess it relating to what you're trying to achieve. If you're telling me that you just want to, you know, like this, you want to get shredded, you don't want to give up your life, maybe there's a period where we say, right, just cut alcohol out for now, and then we can reintroduce it later, maybe at the bottom end of the fat loss phase. But if it's a big part of your life, if that's what your friends do, if you're young and you want to get out and do that, or maybe if you're not young and you just enjoy a glass of wine or a couple of beers at the weekend, factor all this in. You know, enjoyment is something that people never really talk about in fitness, and they don't understand how much of it's such an important variable in getting a good result, because if you stick to what you're doing because you enjoy it, compliance is going to be through the roof. It's going to be far higher than if you resent every little component of what you do. And so the little things like how you design a training program, how you set up your current day of eating, how you balance meals out, taking the time to actually learn these social strategies, social management strategies, and calorie banking and all that, that will massively increase your enjoyment for what it is that you do, and you're going to stick to it for longer and get a better result, right? Alcohol itself isn't the problem. It's your use of it. And this is the same with pretty much every vice, right? Alcohol, porn, nicotine, caffeine, gambling, none of those things are bad in moderation. Nobody can moderate them. That's the problem. You can't moderate them, which is why they're a problem. The things themselves, they're not a problem. They're just not. They're just things. It's our use of it that's a problem. You can also be a bit smarter with your use, right? White spirit and a zero sugar mixer rather than beers. Heavy barley beers, you know, the ones that are like 200-300 calories a pint, sometimes more. White spirit, zero sugar mixer, tequila, lime soda, very popular. So a couple of things to think about there, boys, when it comes to staying shredded year round, right? If you can balance these components after getting shredded, building nutritional leverage so we have some leeway, becoming a furnace paired with getting food high, right? Being very, very active all of the time. 10,000 steps is minimum, guys. I'm looking more at 12 to 15,000 steps every single day. Structured cardio, lower intensity zone 2, but also higher intensity. Training fucking hard. Nailing macros regardless of phase at every single point in your life. Mastering social strategies so you can go and have and claim that freedom and enjoyment, but keeping it on track and keeping it within your macros. And then assessing your relationship to alcohol and not letting that fuck your progress up. You've cracked it, boys. That is how you stay lean year round, but it's all to do with getting shredded first, building nutritional leverage. This, by the way, I will make an in-depth video on this at some point, because this is crucial to a lot of my videos, actually. So I'll make an in-depth one. You know, you could be looking with this at like, I want you to think longer. I want you to think about years with nutritional leverage, because that is how long it takes, right? Fucking, it's just real. You can't build leverage over 6 months. You can build some, not enough to the point where this whole game is just cracked. But that's it, guys. That is how you stay in the shape of your life without it coming at the expense of your life, your social life, not having fun. Appreciate you watching. As always, guys, there is a free hybrid training plan in the bio if anybody's interested in that. It comes with a set of daily habits and then some reflection prompts also as well for journaling, which is part of the habits. It will make more sense once you download it. But yeah, go and have a look at that. Appreciate you watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.